Dude, you just rode down an avalanche. Not bad for my first time, right? Caden says. I guess I could have done something cooler with the landing, though. You want to come up and try again with me? No? And why do you look different? Caden's hair is a dazzling shade of gold, feathered to the side and wild in the back. It looks like wind is constantly passing through it, regardless of a breeze. The Caden I know from the real world has a light sprinkling of freckles on his nose and some acne on his cheeks, but this new Caden has glowing, faultless skin. He's taller and packed with more muscle too. There's not a single imperfection to be found. His attire is completely different too. He's wearing baggy pants and a loose shirt, all colored a holy hue of white and silver. A long, flowing cape hangs from his shoulders. Strapped across his back is a sharp, shimmering sword with a highly detailed golden handle. Despite all this, I can see past the glamour. Beneath all the fancy upgrades is still a boy with dreams too big for the real world. I look different? He asks. He tries to get a good look at himself, but without a mirror he can't see much. Here, check this out. He puts out his hand and a burst of wind explodes from his fingertips. The snow beneath his feet clears way to reveal a large mirror. Had that been there before? Damn, he says, touching his face. I look good. Why work out when one trip to a dream world does the trick, eh? Did you do that to yourself? I ask. Did you? Before you harp on me too hard, you might want to take a look in the mirror yourself. My heart rate spikes. I'm almost too afraid to check. What if I look in the mirror and the person back isn't me? Would that be enough for me to lose my mind? Come on, Kale, I tell myself. Buck up a bit. Here I am, too scared to look in a mirror. Kane's already riding down avalanches. Slowly, I approach the mirror. As my features come into view, the tension in my bones relaxes. To my relief, I know this person in the mirror. I look different, but it's still me. It's this place, Caden explains. It changes things. It changes everything. My once plain, fair hair has turned dark and spiky. I don't know what to call this hairstyle other than a wild mess. My face, like Caden's, has become unblemished and radiant. My previously fragile frame is now lean and toned. My eyes have lightened from a dull brown to an oceanic blue. Not bad at all. Unlike Caden, my clothes don't have an inch of slack to them. Everything is packed tight against my body. A dark vest with more straps and buttons than I can count. Kind of looks like a closed book that's been tucked away. My arms are covered by red sleeves, with golden chains dangling close to the fabric. My pants are heavy, decorated with black, vine-like symbols, rising from my feet up to my thighs. Don't forget your back, Caden exclaims, practicing his sword lunges. 4 cylindrical spires extend from my back, 1 spire in each direction. I feel around my back for a sword like Caden's, but my hands touch something else. There's no sling or strap to hold the object in place. It's just kind of magnetized to my body. I pull it off without any resistance and bring it up to the mirror. Despite its size, it feels weightless in my hands. The 4 golden lightning bolt-like spires all converge in the middle, held in place by a sharp circle that cuts through the middle of the spires. Closely resembles a wheel on some old pirate ship, but this is no wheel. It's a weapon. An old memory sparks in the back of my mind, from some school trip to a museum. I've seen something like this before. The guy called it a chakram. To a 10-year-old Kale, it was the coolest thing he'd ever seen. Now, I'm holding one, and something tells me that it's mine. I've never held anything like it before, and yet some instinct tells me exactly how to use it. I grip the center, where all the spires converge, and notice that my hands have golden vein-like markings on them. They match the color of the weapon perfectly, as if we're meant to be paired up. I don't think that thing's a shield, Caden states. He's admiring my weapon with a twinge of jealousy in his eyes. His sword could cut me in half, sure, but at the end of the day, my weapon looks way cooler. I'd be jealous too. Yeah, I get that, I reply, but I could still use it to guard myself. Want to try? Caden raises his sword in my direction. I laugh him off. Don't be ridiculous, I say. You know how dangerous these things could be? We don't even know how to use them. Speak for yourself, He keeps his sword pointed at me. Come on. Could be fun. No, it could be death. I don't feel like getting cut in half, thanks. He sighs angrily and takes a step toward me. I back away and raise my weapon for protection. Caden, I say firmly, put it down. This isn't funny. We circle one another, both refusing to break eye contact. A mischievous grin cuts across his lips. Just because this place isn't real doesn't mean you can't hurt me, I plead with him. He shakes his head and lets out a gruff chuckle, waving his sword in the air. Come on, man, he teases. Don't be such a baby. He pretends to strike, causing me to flinch. He laughs again and switches up his stance. It won't hurt, I promise. He lunges forward, and with inhuman speed, I lift my weapon to catch his. His sword gets caught between two of the spires. A perfect block. Caden is shocked, and so am I, but I'm quicker to take advantage of the moment. As if I was programmed to do so, I spin my weapon around rapidly with both hands, like a steering wheel, tearing the sword out of his hand. The blade flings down and penetrates deep into the mirror's surface, making a loud twanging noise. The whole exchange takes less than a second. Now that was cool, Caden says. He skips over to his sword and pulls it out of the mirror. The broken glass cracks his reflection into a million distorted pieces. He sees something in that splintered self that gives him pause, but he shakes it off and returns to me with a smile. I expect to be a little winded from the exchange, but against my better judgment, I feel exhilarated. Not something I'll be sharing with Caden. Don't want to encourage bad behavior. You've done some stupid shit, I say, but that was top 5 stupid. Easy. What if you'd hit me? Sort of puckered your butt, he says, his form of an apology, but I was in control. I wouldn't have hurt you even if I could. But you're good, real good, just like I knew you would be. How could you possibly know that? It's this place, Kale. He turns away from me to face the mountains and the ever-changing sky. It's everything I've ever dreamed of. We have nothing to fear here. I try to place my weapon onto my back without really knowing how it stuck there in the first place. Foregoing logic, I gently press it against myself and just let go. There's a slight pressure, and boom, we have contact. It doesn't fall to the ground. Maybe I am getting the hang of things. I wouldn't say that, I mutter. If this is a dream world, like Josiah said, well, where there's dreams, there's nightmares. The snow beneath our feet recedes away from us with a slight slurping noise, back up the slope of the mountain, returning to where it came from. The grass grows back up to our thighs within an instant, as if someone hit a rewind button on our surroundings. I can't even imagine what nightmares feel like in real life, he says, no louder than a whisper. Yeah, well, don't think on it too much, I suggest. Seems like this place is keen on dragging our thoughts out in the open. Happy thoughts, please. The rest of our group, Caden shouts quite suddenly. We need to find them right now. The grass around us begins to swirl violently as a tiny tornado forms at our feet. Okay, I agree, shouting over the billowing wind. Just calm down before you blow us into the sky. The wind settles as Caden calms himself. If we're going to be here a while, we need to find a way to control our emotions before we cause some serious damage. I take a look around to get my bearings. Ahead of us are the mountains, and behind us is the jungle. Maybe that toucan can help us, if he's not too busy gorilla watching. When I was at the top of that mountain, Caden says, looking back at the top, I saw some sort of building out in the distance. You want to check it out first? What kind of building? I ask. Is it possible that there could be other people in here with us? Or is that building merely another one of our imaginations? It looked like a church or something, Caden explains. He's already walking off. Come on, it's this way. Caden, I didn't say yes yet. That kind of shit is why we're here in the first place. You say that like it's a bad thing. Admit it. For once, things worked out. I got us here. I'll get us home. You remember our promise, right? Yeah, I do, and I plan on sticking to it. Now, we gonna have some fun or what? We exchange a few friendly jabs as we set off to find our friends. If it was just me, I wouldn't know where to start. But that's why Caden's in charge. Something about his confidence makes him easy to follow. No matter what happens in this messed up place, as long as he's there, I'll get through it. We all will.